Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Raging Reality reaction video where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to part 4 of our Kickoff Battle Royale with Godflesh's Crush My Soul. Now, there's only one thing I need to tell you guys about this video just before we begin, is apparently the man who directed it was also the man responsible for the creations of the photo art, well, the album artwork for both Load and Reload. And if you know anything at all about those two album covers, well, enough said. So, with all that being said and done, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. Crush My Soul in 3, 2, 1, and chickens. Okay, that, guys, was Crush My Soul by Godflesh. You know, it's actually kind of a little bit ironic that the same guy who gave us the covers for both Load and Reload would have some production in this, because it did involve cocks, well, specifically cockfighting, which I genuinely did not believe that was actually a thing, but what they, as cruelly as they tried to show it right there, that kind of looked as close as I possibly could have imagined cockfighting could have looked like. And I gotta say, it's really, really strange. This whole video was indeed very, very strange, from the almost petrification of the way the guy was being almost, not so much crucified, he was being hung upside down by his feet, but in front of a congregation. That's just weird as hell. But even weirder, it was just, the beat wasn't, like, the beat I would say isn't exactly, it's not, I wouldn't say it's the most revolutionary of beats in the world, but it's kind of, I want to say hypnotic, because I felt myself just like drawn into the fact that these guys were trying to make some statement about modern Catholicism and how we have glorified these gory as hell depictions, and most of them have been conducted within the influence of the Catholic Church themselves, is what I think they're trying to say. God help me if I get this wrong. But then, of course, I suppose the idea of crushing my soul is meant to be something that's so mind-numbingly devastating to a person that it ultimately brings them down just like that. Swallow me whole, make me learn. Don't need me, crush my soul, make me feel. How can I see hope when I never see my light? I'm empty inside. And now he's literally just offered up his body for whatever purpose, for some kind of like significance, or possibly to make an example of in this. Maybe this is what possibly St. Peter was going through when he suddenly decided, when his time was over, that he wanted to be crucified upside down. Maybe that's what St. Peter, if I ever meet him at the pearly gates, I might actually want to ask him why, or what was going through his mind when he decided that he wanted to be crucified upside down. Because what's quite ironic about that is that Peter is actually oddly considered to be the very first pope, and as such, he didn't necessarily want to, because he sinned against Christ, that he wanted to be. I think the idea is that he wanted to be considered himself the Antichrist. He was not so much Christ, even though he was told to be in charge, and that's why he wanted to be crucified upside. In fact, I'll tell you what. Just before we go, I'm actually going to check out why was St. Peter crucified. Let's say St. Peter the Apostle. Let's just go for this. The man and his position among the disciples. The sources of information concerning the life of Peter are limited to the New Testament, the 4 Gospels, Acts, the letters to St. Paul, and the 2 letters that bear the name of Peter. He probably was known originally by the Hebrew name Simeon, or the Greek form of that name, Simon. The former appears only twice in the New Testament, the latter 49 times. At solemn moments, Gospel according to John 21:15, he was called Simon, son of John. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll just get to the point of where I was trying to get the idea that he was crucified upside down. Greater emphasis gave to the later partnership of the 12 apostles. You know, I'll try and find something else. It's got to be... This one's taking far too long to get to. What is the evidence that Peter was crucified upside down? The tradition that Peter was executed began with a reference to the form of his death in John chapter 1, in which Jesus told Peter, "I assure you, when you were young, you would tie your belt and walk whenever you wanted. But when you grow older, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will tie you and carry you where thou don't want to go." John reported, probably after Peter died, he said this to signify by what kind of death he would glorify God. So the idea that Peter was crucified, stretch out your hands, came from John, but this does not include the location or the physical position of his crucifixion. Eusebius AD 3025 claimed in the ecclesiastical history that all apostles were martyred except for John. The evidence for some of this is very spotty, but the number variety... I think the point that, again, I'll make sure to look into this and probably give you guys a more vivid, a more honest and more deliberate sort of like interpretation about this, because it's very it's interesting as hell that what Godflesh have actually tried to have done. But then again, I say that, but then again, the more I know, the less I understand, and I could somehow try to understand exactly what Godflesh were trying to say here, and that's the best I could sort of like offer as far as like what I think they were going for. I can't necessarily say it's the most. It's fascinating, and it would be even more fascinating if they said probably even less, to be honest. But there you are. What can you do? It's at the very least, I'll make sure to look into this and make sure to report back to you guys with exactly where I could find the evidence about St. Peter's crucifixion, because that's what I think they were trying to go for, but also the idea of somebody being so broken inside that they had to be offered up, almost in the handing out of communion bread. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Crush My Soul by Godflesh. Please also make sure to also like and subscribe to get daily notifications when my videos come out. And I hope to have you guys again in the next reaction video. Take care. Bye bye for now.